Yo, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode. So it appears that the Philadelphia Eagles have found their new guy. They have found their new offensive coordinator to replace um, the previous offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore, who is now the head coach for the New Orleans Saints. And the person who the Philadelphia Eagles chose to promote from within is Kevin Patullo. He has been labeled as Nick Sirianni's right hand man. In another article that I read, Nick Sirianni says that pretty much him and Kellen Moore was inseparable last year. He's talking about Kevin Patullo and Kellen Moore. They was inseparable, and he said that he's pretty much been leaning on Kevin Patullo ever since day one, since he's been at the Eagles. They have worked with each other, when Nick was with the Colts. And so Nick said he pretty much didn't know a better person who deserved to be promoted to offensive coordinator. So let's just take a look at what they say about Kevin Patullo. So this is off the Eagles official website. It says of Kevin Patullo, he has been a star in his role for 4 seasons with the Eagles coaching staff, helping the offense continually stay ahead of the NFL curve. Kevin now takes a new role as the Philadelphia offensive coordinator, allowing for continuity on the coaching staff and giving the offense and quarterback Jalen Hurts a familiar voice and a like mindset for the 2025 season. The team announced the elevation of Patullo, who was previously the team's passing game coordinator since 2021, who added the title of associate head coach in 2023 after the 2024 offensive coordinator Kellen Moore moved on to become the head coach of the New Orleans Saints. For Patullo, his increased responsibility is a natural move. He's moving into his 16th season coaching in the NFL, all on the offensive side of the ball. That's good. Primarily working with wide receivers and quarterbacks. He brings to the table a wealth of experience and understanding of what works for the Eagles offense, learning alongside the likes of Shane Steichen, the offensive coordinator for the Eagles in 2021 and 2022, and who is now the head coach in Indianapolis. Brian Johnson, oof, hearing that name just gives me chills. Uh, Brian Johnson, now the assistant head coach with Washington, and Moore, who helped the Eagles win Super Bowl 59. So the article goes on to say a few more things about him. But yeah, the Eagles have found their guys. Now, as always, when I come about to do different topics on the Eagles or whatever team I'm covering, I kind of look around, right? So I look around on social media, mainly Reddit. And so I looked in the Reddit Eagles fan page, and it was a lot of mixed reactions. It's the same on Facebook. I'm in like 20 Eagles fan pages, and it was the same. And I kind of feel the same way as a lot of fans. I'm an Eagles fan, if you can't tell, but I felt the same way because when Shane Steichen left, um, the Eagles promoted Brian Johnson to offensive coordinator, and we also promoted internally a defensive coordinator because I forget his name, but the defensive coordinator during the last Super Bowl run, he left. He left to go be the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals, and so Nick and Howie decided to promote guys from within, and we know how that went down. It was a disaster. The offense looked just terrible under Brian Johnson. The defense looked terrible, and so seeing them hiring someone from internal does give me a little, pause because, like I said, the last time they did it, it was terrible. But apparently this guy seems to be, a hidden gem, a rock star, someone who Nick Sirianni really likes. They talked to Jalen Hurts, and Jalen Hurts made compliments that he has a lot of confidence in Kevin. So I guess I have to take the wait and see approach. I think we all have to take the wait and see approach. Um, but um, I just think that, the lack of not talking to outside sources, which I don't know if the Eagles did or didn't do. I I read 2 or 3 articles and I didn't see anything about the Eagles talking to anyone outside of the building. But I just think that them not doing that is going to give a lot of fans, including myself, a little pause. Right? There's no, well, there is positives from this, right? Because Jalen Hurts has had a crap ton of offensive coordinators um, in his short career, right? Gone from um, college to the pros, right? He's had a lot of turnover in offensive coordinators. Some himself, some you can say was his own fault because he transferred from Alabama to Oklahoma, or he was forced to transfer because Nick Saban pretty much gave up on him. And then, the rest was just turnover, right? The Eagles was extremely successful, so guys got hired. The Eagles was not extremely successful, so guys got fired. And so in this go around, the Eagles was extremely successful, so Kellen Moore got hired as a head coach. You can't really expect Kellen Moore to stay around, right? I think every assistant coach in the NFL wants to be a head coach at some point in their career or another. But uh it's a positive because this is continuity, right? This is continuity for Jalen Hurts. Again, he's worked with Kevin before. Obviously, his whole time while he's been playing under Nick Sirianni, he's been working with Kevin, so that is some consistency. But to be a devil's advocate, there's no hiding the fact that it appeared that at the beginning of the season that Nick Sirianni and Kellen Moore was having some internal conflict. Now, there is a couple of other podcasts that I listen to that cover the Philadelphia Eagles, and this guy has a little bit of more inside knowledge than I do, obviously. And he said that there was some internal conflict between Kellen Moore and Nick Sirianni. We all know that Nick Sirianni is an offensive guy. He was an offensive coordinator, right? And he relinquished play calling to Shane Steichen. But when Kellen Moore came in, people were saying that at the beginning of the season, there was a little of a back and forth with Kellen Moore and Nick Sirianni. And you kind of saw that on the field. The Eagles came out very sluggish in the first half of the game, right? And they said a lot of that was Nick Sirianni meddling in the offensive game plan for the week and also meddling in the scripted plays, right? Every NFL team has a certain amount of plays that they script for the opening segments of the game. And so, it was a lot of going back and forth where they said that Nick Sirianni was, Kellen Moore would dial up a play and Nick Sirianni would override it and say, call this instead. And so it just sounded like Nick had a little bit of an ego problem. We also saw that, you got Saquon Barkley and you're not giving him the ball. And so a lot of Eagles fans was frustrated with that. But obviously, we've seen after the Eagles had that sluggish start and after the bye, they turned it the fuck on. Excuse my French. So it seemed as if Kellen Moore and Nick Sirianni resolved their conflict, and Nick Sirianni just was a CEO head coach. And I think that's what Nick Sirianni does best, is being a CEO head coach, allowing his coaches to coach. And if his coaches are effing up, that's when he needs to get in their ass. But uh, you know, Kevin Patullo, that he's labeled as Nick's right hand man. So I'm just a little cautious because this sounds like someone that Nick Sirianni can control. Maybe Nick Sirianni can walk all over. And I would not be shocked if we saw the Eagles offense be a little sluggish to start the season off next season, because that's Nick Sirianni's doing, his ego in play, wanting to take credit for having some type of input in the offensive attack and the play calling instead of being a CEO head coach. That's just my opinion on the matter. But yes, the Eagles have found their new offensive coordinator, Kevin Patullo. He is a internal promotion from the passing game coordinator to the offensive coordinator. So Eagles Nation, let me know how y'all feel about this hire. Let me know, thumbs up, thumbs down, or whether or not you are indifferent in the comment section below. And as always, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel and hit that bell notification button so you can stay up to date on all of the latest content that comes from this channel. The channel is growing slowly but surely, right? It's growing for sure. So please help grow the channel. And as always, I'm out.